Hey guys, welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to learn about data types. A data type is basically referred to as the type of data a memory location can hold. By memory location, I mean a variable. Whenever we need to store a value, the respective data type must be mentioned so that the system may structure the memory location for its proper storage. Each specific data type has a particular memory space of its own. So now let us talk about the two different types of data types. Data types are differentiated into two types, namely primitive data types and non-primitive data types. Primitive data types are the basic or fundamental data types used to declare a variable, while a non-primitive data type is one that is derived from primitive data types. In other words, we may say that a number of primitive data types are used together to present a non-primitive data type. Hence, a non-primitive data type is also called as a composite data type. Now, let us look at the differentiation of the primitive data types. Primitive data types are differentiated into numeric and non-numeric data types. Numeric data types allow us to declare variables that can store numbers. Based on the types of values that can be stored in a variable, the numeric data type is classified into integers and floating numbers. A variable declared under integers is considered to be an integer literal. They are further categorized as byte, short, int, and long. You may remember that I had used int as a data type in the tokens lecture to assign an integer literal to a variable. So now let us talk about byte. Byte is used to store integer data up to 8 bits or 1 byte. As byte can store data only up to 8 bits, byte can only store small numbers such as only one digit numbers such as 1 to 9. Short is used to store a small range of integers up to 16 bits. As you can see, short can store up to 2 bytes of data. Therefore, it can take larger numbers such as 2-digit numbers. So maybe it can hold numbers from 10 to 99. The next type is int, which can store data up to 4 bytes, which means that we can store numbers ranging from 100 to probably 1000, which means that we can store numbers ranging from 100 to probably 999. Long is the largest integer type, which can store about 8 bytes of data. Therefore, long can store as much as up to 8-digit numbers. So you can consider long to be the father of int, short, and byte. The user may select a particular data type according to the size of the value to be stored. Remember that you must take the data type according to the value you want to store in it. Such as if you want to store the number 7, then you should probably take byte. But if someone stores 7 in long, then it would be a complete waste of memory, as 8 bytes is very large to store a one digit number. The next type of numeric data types are real numbers. A variable declared under this type contains floating point data, that is, numbers including a decimal point. They can further be categorized into float and double. They both are quite similar. The only difference is that of the space. Float can store up to 4 bytes of data, while double can store up to 8 bytes of data, which means that float can store numbers up to 7 significant digits, while double can store numbers with up to 15 significant digits. The next type of data types are non-numeric data types. Non-numeric data types do not deal The next type of data types are non-numeric data types. They are further categorized into characters and boolean. So let us see its examples. Non-numeric data types are data types which do not deal with numbers, rather, they are used to declare a character or a set of characters. A variable is said to be a character type when it holds a character literal, that is, a single letter or a digit, or even a special symbol enclosed within single quotes. A set of characters enclosed within double quotes is termed as a string, as I have already told you. If you want to store a string literal to a variable, then the variable must be declared as a string data type. The keyword of the data type which stores characters is char, as you can see here. Each character has a memory space of 2 bytes each, while a string does not have a defined memory space. As you can see, a string is made up of a set of characters, and each character contains 2 bytes of space. Therefore, the memory required by a string is the number of characters in the string multiplied by 2. So, if we take the example of computer, it has 8 characters. So, if you multiply it by 2, then the space of the computer string will be 16 bytes. The next type is Boolean. Boolean literals are true or false. To store a Boolean literal, the variable must be declared Boolean. A Boolean literal is either true or false, but it must not be enclosed within double quotes, otherwise it will become a string literal. So these were the different types of data types. This is a small table I have made which contains the information about the data type, its space in bytes and bits, and its default value. You must remember that 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. So according to this table, as you can see, Boolean contains 1 byte of memory space, which when multiplied by 8 gives us the memory space in bits. It is similar in all the cases. 8 into 8 gives 64, 4 into 8 gives 32. Now, on to the default values. Default values are given to a data type if it is not given a value at the start of the program. As I told you, Boolean is either true or false, but if it is not given a value at the start of the program, it is automatically set to false. All the integer data types have 0 as its default value. As float and double both store decimal values, their default values are zero point 0.0, but in the case of float it is F or capital F, and in the case of double it is small d or capital D, denoting F for float and D for double. As you can see, char has a very unique type of default value, which is backslash u 4 times 0 enclosed in single quote. And as I mentioned before, a string does not have a definite memory space. As it is a set of characters, its space is considered to be the number of characters into 2. So this was all for this video. Thank you and meet you in the next video.